Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to talk about why Nikon D3200 is really a bad camera to have for videos. If you guys are thinking about getting this camera for videos, just wait and watch till the end of the video. You will understand why I am telling you this. Let's roll the intro. Wait. In case you guys are new to this channel, hi, I am Lipo and in this channel I review tech and camera gears. If you guys are interested on those, consider subscribing and hit that bell notification icon so that you guys are being notified when I release a new video. This is a new channel, so I appreciate your help. If you learn anything from this channel, consider subscribing and it will help me a lot. So currently I am shooting on a Canon 90D camera. I am not using the Nikon 3200 because there are a lot of problems in this camera in case of videos. This camera is not a bad camera for pictures, but for videos there are a lot of problems. I will discuss the pros of this camera first. In case you guys want a full review of this camera, check out my Nikon D3200 full review video. I will add a link in the description or add a card somewhere in the top section. Let's discuss the pros first. This Nikon D3200 is a very cheap entry-level camera. In case you want to buy this camera for now, it will cost you like $299 to $300. That will not heavy on your pocket. In case you want to learn the camera basics and want some great pictures and sharp quality, you can have this camera still. In case of weight, the Nikon D3200 is a very lightweighted camera. I have added an extra battery grip. In spite of that, it's very lightweighted and it feels very cheap plastic. This is an entry-level camera, so it's very easy to use, not that much complicated functionalities. You can use as a beginner. This camera is very good for learning. The image quality is very sharp. It depends on the lens you are using. If you are using the kit lens, it may not be the case, but if you are using a 50mm prime lens from Nikon, it will give you a great result. So as an entry-level camera, this camera is very user-friendly, cheap and light-weighted. So if you want to learn the basics of camera, you should go for this camera, and the quality of the photos are very sharp and there is no denying that the picture qualities are very good in this camera. Now here comes the bad part. So as you can see, the monitor of this camera is fixed. You cannot rotate it. So if you want to shoot a talking head video like this, you cannot see yourself. You have to add extra monitor for this camera. This camera cannot shoot on 60 fps in 1920 by 180p. So if you want a slow motion or something with this camera, it's not possible with this camera. That's a downside. Also, this camera doesn't support 4K. And that's also a downside, but that's an entry-level camera and it's 10 years old camera, so yeah, there's no complaint for that. But there is no dedicated ISO button in this camera, so if you want to change the ISO, you have to go to settings, menu and change the ISO. So there is an extra function button in the top. You can change this for ISO, but I prefer a dedicated ISO button in any camera because I want to change the ISO on the run. Let's talk about autofocus. There is no autofocus built in this camera, so if your lens doesn't have autofocus, you are out of luck. And in case of manual focus, there is no focus peaking, so manual focus is pretty hard in this camera. And in case you doesn't know about focus peaking, so focus peaking is something that when you try to focus on manual mode, it will color that thing, that which part of the image you are now focusing. That is very helpful in most of the cameras nowadays. Also, the autofocus is really very bad and loud. So if you are not using an external mic, you will get the noise of focusing. You will get a sound on your videos. So you have to use external mic if you want to use this camera. And the kit lens could be better. The kit lens, it comes with 18 to 55 mm 3.5 to 5.6 f, and that's not a bad number, but the quality is very cheap, like plasticky. And so I think you shouldn't use the kit lens. You should use another prime lens or something. You will get a better video quality. And there are no live histogram on the monitor, so you cannot understand like your exposure or anything is correct or not. So histogram is very helpful for videos and it's not there. So it's a 10 years old camera, so what can you say? So in case you guys want to know how you can get the best out of this camera in case of videos, you should check out my video about that. I have a link in the description or add a card here. So at last, my opinion is this is a 10 years old camera, so for videos you shouldn't have this camera. If you already have this camera, you can use this for videos and learn the basics if you don't want to spend a lot of money in cameras, and you can get this camera for starting. But for professional use, you have to buy a good camera with good lens. This is not usable for daily use. You can use it, but it's a hassle to use an old camera. From newer camera, you have a lot of options. There are many things are auto and you can change everything very frequently, but in this case you have to do everything by yourself. You have to understand everything, so it's a difficult camera to handle for a lot of people. So if someone is paying you for a video, you shouldn't use a cheap camera like this. It will give a lot of trouble for shooting and a lot of things. So in my opinion, if you want to buy this camera for learning purpose or for photos, you should go for it. But for videos or professional use, you shouldn't go for this camera. So let's face it, this is a 10 years old camera, so what can you expect from a 10 years old camera? Nowadays the cameras have a lot of options and you can get a lot of things from your cameras by default, and in this camera you have to set it up. So don't go for this, but if you want to learn from this camera, this is a good camera for photos. So I absolutely recommend it to buy this camera for photos. So yeah, that's it. So see you in the next video. Bye.